Uh, I've gotten a couple of comments on my channel from a person that is obviously totally enamored of drugs and think they're great. And I think that he might have gotten the wrong idea about my motivation in talking about my drug experiences. They're supposed to be cautionary tales or uplifting, as in I defeated sin through the help of Jesus and met, Jesus saw stuff that made me believe in the Bible, that sort of thing. Hey, listen, I'm not judging this guy. I used to be there too. I thought drugs were the cat's meow. I thought that drugs were the key that was going to make me transcend time and space and raise to a higher vibrational frequency and become God. Well, that didn't happen. But anyway, the last comment, the guy said, tell me about your best drug experience. Okay, here you go. It's about 10 years ago, I think. I can't remember. It's been that long ago. But about that. And I was in Sherman Oaks, California. I think I was just getting back from some kind of trip. I'd been gone for a while. And I was visiting with some friends. And there was this one guy there that was a druggie. All the other people there weren't really into it. They'd been into it, but they'd stopped because they were getting old and wanted to live. And but the guy looks over at me and says, "Hey, Jeff, you want a bump?" For those of you that are wondering, a bump is a line of drugs. It could be coke, it could be speed, it could be heroin even, I guess, that you snort up your nose. And I guess I was feeling cocky, because I had not really been doing it, but I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. So he pulls out a CD case. What's a CD case? A compact disc. Google it. Yeah. It's an antique thing. And dumps out some shards of crystal methamphetamine onto the case, pulls out a Bic lighter, crunches it up, pulls out a credit card, and divides it into 4 big lines. Rolls up a $1 bill, big spender, huh? Hands it to me, and I snort up both lines, one up each nostril. He snorts up a couple of lines. Pretty soon I start feeling the effects, a little bit of euphoria, kind of pepping up, getting real talkative. We're listening to music. The other guys are drinking beer. They're smoking cigarettes. We're smoking weed. And maybe about an hour later, it's like, hey, want another one? I'm like, yeah, sure. Does it again. I get 2 more lines. We hang out for a little while longer. It's starting to get late, and I'm kind of high as a kite now, and I jump on my bike and go riding around. It's a nice summer night. It's like 75 degrees all night long, and I'm going to be up all night, and it's plenty of action in the San Fernando Valley, and as far as just people out and about. I was on Ventura Boulevard cruising back and forth. But right around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, it's getting, it's been a while, I realized, dude, I haven't taken a leak since I did that. I haven't taken a leak in 10, 11, 12 hours. And I felt like I needed to pee. I hadn't peed. And so I go out behind a garbage can and I'm trying to pee. I feel like I need to really bad. And I can't pee. And it's kind of feeling really painful. I keep cruising around, and periodically I keep feeling like I need to urinate. I just can't do it. And I'm starting to be in agonizing pain. I keep trying to pee, and it kind of looks weird. I'm like standing behind a garbage can with my penis hanging out, about every 30 minutes for about 10 minutes trying to take a leak. And I'm starting to get scared. Well, this goes on as the sun comes up, and in the day, I go back over to where I was before when I did the drugs, and This guy's nowhere to be found. I'm like going to ask him, what the hell was it? You know, are you having a problem here? Are you feeling sick? Because I was feeling sick. And my other friends were there, and they knew something was up because I'd keep running off into the bushes and like, what the hell is he doing over there? They were like tripping, you know, kept trying to go take a leak. Guys, this no being able to pee and being in agonizing pain went on for like 24 hours. And I was just getting really, really frantic. And I was feeling worse and worse. I just felt like I was being poisoned somehow. So I just, like a cat or a wild animal, crawled off to die, basically. I went to this place called Toluca Lake. Away, because it's like a place I could get away from everybody, because nobody I knew hung out there, and there wasn't a lot of homeless people there. And I went there, and I had this place I could get to that was the SAG-AFTRA credit union. It's like a bank for the movie industry people. The actors, the extras, and the screenplay writers, and all that sort of thing. Actors. And there were these rolling gates that would close up, that would block the parking lot off when it was closed, but there was a little place you could walk into to get to a cash machine. And nobody'd hardly ever use it, because I guess they'd be too afraid to in the middle of the night. I'd never saw anybody use that cash machine at night. But I could cruise into the parking lot, and there's these sago palms that hung over, and I could drag my bike and lay it down and get up underneath there and lay down, and that's what I did. It had been like 36 hours since I'd taken a leak. And I was just laying there. All of a sudden, I tried again. I didn't have a pee bottle on me either. I was just so out of it. I didn't have one. I usually would drink some water, and I'd cut the top off and use that as a pee bottle. The last water bottle I drink, I'd use that as a pee bottle. And I didn't have one, you know. But I started needing to take a leak, and it was just like, it started peeing. I'm like, oh God, I'm peeing. It was just like barely dribbling out, but it took me like 10 minutes, and I kind of like got rid of it, but it basically never stopped. I was just like dribbling pee on myself. I had to eventually put it away and lay down on my sleeping bag, and I was just peeing on myself. It just never stopped. And something very strange happened. I was just laying there in my sleeping bag, dying basically, peeing on myself slowly, you know, dribbling piss all over myself. And I know that a person that was possessed by the devil walked up, and it was on the other side of the wall. It was only like a 4-foot high wall, and there's some sago palms. I couldn't really see him, but I could hear him. He was walking up there, and he was possessed by the devil. And from what I could hear from his conversation he was having with himself, he was some kind of bigwig sound engineer for one of the major studios in the area, because Toluca Lake, there's several big studios. Disney has one, Warner Brothers has one, and they both have music, you know, recording studios, lots of them. And he's having a conversation about waiting for his drug dealer, and talking about, to himself, about some of the big rock stars he's produced albums for. But it sounds like he's talking to me. I think Satan was talking to me by using this guy talking to himself when he's high on drugs, waiting for his drug dealer to show up. First, I just hear somebody walking up, and he's standing there mumbling, and he's like, patience, patience, he'll be here soon. And to my way of thinking, it was Satan talking to his minions and his demons, saying, I'll be with them soon, at their mercy. Oh God, what's taking him so long? And then he started talking about all the, about his experiences, and yeah, that night with some rock star he was recording, you know, an album for that night. But then he just left the studio to try to score some dope. And his dope dealer never did show up, probably because the asshole owed him money, and the dope dealer was sick of this guy thinking just because he was a big sound recording engineer and knew a bunch of rock stars that he's supposed to get free dope off this guy. And he's like, fuck him, I'm not going to show up, because he never did. The guy was getting pissed too. But he had this nice phone with this bitchin' speaker thing on it, I guess, because he kept playing some of these like heavy metal albums. Like, yeah, I remember recording this album for this guy, man. Yeah, did this one right. He's one of the best guitar players. He was playing this music, and it was good music. It was devil music, though. You know, heavy metal, satanic music. But I heard this guy talking about, basically he was talking to me, but he didn't know it. He was talking to himself, but Satan was possessing him, or a demon was inside of him, and the demon was using him to talk to me about that I was almost dead and I was going to go to hell. Eventually the guy said, Dan, he's never going to show. I can't wait here forever. I got to go back. And he took off. He was really sounding like he was possessed, like the Exorcist or something, you know. It was freaky. It was creepy. But I basically laid there the rest of the night peeing all over myself, you know. I had complete renal shutdown from whatever this stuff was. I got poisoned. The other guy, I never saw that other guy again that turned me on to the dope. Nobody did. He just disappeared. Probably died. He wasn't as healthy as I was. He'd been doing lots of drugs, and it probably killed him. And me, I was kind of healthy from being on the road, riding bicycles cross country, and not doing any drugs, you know. I don't think I was drinking at this time either. But guys, I eventually, after about 24 hours of peeing on myself, I stopped. I was able to control it. Like, I could hold it, and then when I needed to go, I could go, but it was really slow, and it hurt like a motherfucker. It felt like pissing red hot coals. And it basically never, my urination never came back to what it was before. Slowly over time, it has, because that was like a decade ago, but it was bad. For like a year, it was just like a real weak stream that I had a hard time peeing. And for a month, it was agonizingly painful. I was having to take, you know, like massive doses of Tylenol just to be able to go through the agony of peeing during the day. And I know what you're thinking. That's your best drug experience? Yes. Yes, it is. You know why? Because it convinced me never, ever to do anything like that again. Because you guys do realize narcotics like cocaine, speed, and heroin, they don't make that in some lab in a medical center or something, or an industrial area, you know, with scientists and inspectors and, you know, all kinds of checks and balances to make sure everything's on the up and up. These are made in covert labs. It's either concentrated in some covert lab or synthesized in some kind of covert lab from other dope fiends that learned how to do it from another dope fiend. It's covert labs, man. So you never know and then you're buying it from people on the street. You don't know what they cut it with. You don't know whether they're psychos, they're trying to kill somebody. You don't know. And I learned my lesson. And I swore I would never do drugs unless it was from a doctor's prescription, going to a pharmacy or a clinic, or at the very least, some kind of, like, maybe if I want to take a pot pill, it's at a licensed distributor that's getting their stuff from a place that's being tested and inspected during their either growing it or, you know, processing it into like an edible. And I was better for it. So yeah, it might sound like the weird way of saying it was my best drug experience, but it was. Don't do drugs. And for those of you that are, stop, please. And I just want to, like I said, all the experiences I'm relating to you guys, it's got something to do with witnessing about Jesus and God and the reality of heaven and hell. And the last thing I'd like to say is that Jesus is the way. He's the truth, and he's the light of the world. And he will renew your strength, and he will direct your paths and keep them straight, and he will restore your soul. Just give him a chance, and you'll see. And when you die, you'll get to go to heaven. I believe that. And I have no problem spreading that message, because you're just not going to go wrong with reading the Bible and trying to do what it says to the best of your ability, and believing in God and Jesus, and understanding that there is a Satan and demons that they're out to destroy you, or to get you to cooperate in the destruction of your soul. Have a good night.